Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with former world champion and boxing favourite Scott Quigg. Scott's take two. How you doing?
Yeah, all good. Keeping busy, so I can't complain.
Keeping busy, that's the way it's got to be. Scott, you're in some shape, by the way. Are you at fight weight?
No. I mean, I always keep in shape, but to be fair though, for the last 6 weeks, I've not done a thing. Started training again this week, so I couldn't train for the last 6 weeks. But now, I keep myself in shape because I think better, feel better. So, and there's no reason for me to if I pile on all the weight, there's no reason for me to get it off. So I've got to watch what I'm doing.
Fair enough. A good way to think too. But look, you've put down the gloves and you're lacing on the pads now, helping out fighters, assisting them in their journeys when it used to be you kind of going on your journey. How has it been to transition over to this side, and is it satisfying the itch that a former fighter would have to get back in the ring?
It satisfies it to a certain degree, but it'll never fulfill being a fighter and making that walk to the ring, the adrenaline, the excitement, the buzz, the nerves, all that. It'll never replicate doing it yourself. So it's the next best thing, sort of thing. So because I've been on that journey, I've had ups and I've had downs. So the fighters that obviously I'm helping now, and I've got a couple of fighters myself. I'm in here with Joe helping the fighters there, and having a bit of guidance from Joe as well. Because obviously you look what he's achieved. There's nobody to be under and learn from. So no, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and it's fulfilling what I need.
In terms of it satisfying the itch, you said it never will fully, but in those initial stages when you first retire and maybe you're thinking about, have I made the right choice here? Have I done the right thing here? How long did it take to get over that major hurdle?
To be honest with you, after the last one, I carried on training, and I was actually thought, I feel like I'm getting my old rhythm back here. So obviously I've been out the ring for a long time prior to the Jono fight. So I thought, I know how I felt leading up to that fight, and there's nobody that trains harder than me, and the work that I put in was the work that I needed to put in, but things just weren't happening. And then obviously you think you're going to get it together on the night. It didn't happen, and every credit to Jono. But then once I'd fought, I carried on training. Even though I'd made me announcement on the night we're going to retire, I carried on training. I thought, I'm feeling a bit like my old self. I feel like I'm getting my rhythm back, and obviously COVID it. So from that point, that's really what I was thinking about going again. But now like I said, once COVID it, and I'd been out the ring for even that amount of time, going through all the nonsense that were going on, there was no way I would be returning.
Let's switch our attention from yourself to some of the fighters that you're giving your attention to. Who have you got in the gym at the moment, and who should we be looking out for?
Well, I was out in Dubai for 7 months. I went out there and I was training a lad called Andy, who I brought to the UK, who was in there today. He's my little project, as you would say, because I was out there, and he's had a few amateur fights, but being out in Dubai, the facilities and everything out there is second to none. But you need to be in a real boxing environment. It's getting there. It's a long way to go yet. But I spoke to his parents, and he's come in now. He's only young, 18, and he's my little project that I'm guiding through now, from start, and hopefully I'll be with him until he finishes. And then obviously I got a couple more. I got a lad from London who's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks, based himself up here. So I'm enjoying the work that I'm doing with my own couple of little fights that I've got, but being in here, helping Joe, learning, giving my advice to the fighters who have actually trained alongside these before, when I was fighting. So they respect me because they see what I've done, how hard I worked, and like I said, I'm enjoying it.
Glad you're enjoying it. Just want to pick up on you giving some. I saw obviously you doing the pads with a number of fighters, and obviously giving them advice, partner advice, and giving them little tips and stuff. Jack Massey is an interesting one, someone who's willing and looking for an opportunity right now, either at cruiserweight or at heavyweight. What do you see for the potential ceiling or potential for Jack Massey in terms of success at heavyweight or cruiser?
Yeah, he's got a bright future, Jack. He's experienced. He's been around as well. But there's not many miles on the clock, and like if you see, obviously you see the size of Jack, and then the size of the smallest one. Like everybody, the work that you're doing with each fight has got to be specific for them. And Jack's eager to learn. He's like a sponge. So, and he's just waiting for an opportunity now. But he's ready there as soon as the opportunity comes, he'll shock a few people.
Paul Buckley feels someone who's waiting for another world title opportunity and can win a world title again too.
100%. Like I say, again, I've trained alongside, when I'm going back before, I've trained alongside Paul. And I did a lot of work with him alongside Joe when he was training for his last world title shot. When he fought Inoue, and then the fight before that when he won it in Liverpool. Like, Paul's been around, very experienced, and he's still got it to, I believe he can still become a world champion again. It's just, again, waiting for that opportunity to come about.
I get your thoughts on someone who's not still around. Kiko Martinez, someone who's decided to hang up the gloves, a great servant to the sport like yourself. Went and fought Abe, didn't get the victory, had the brilliant victory over Jordan Gill, but just words on Kiko, who's really kind of gave us some great nights over here.
He's been around for years, you know, and he went on to, I think I'd retired, Anna. Yeah. When he went on and when he became a world champion again, or like I say, when after I beat him, he went on to become a world champion again. So he had some more great wins, and John, when people was obviously they seen what I did to him, and again I caught him with a beautiful shot. It wasn't fluke. I didn't think it was going to happen as quick as it did, and he took the bait early, but people thought he was done then, he was shot, but then. Look what he then went on to do, become world champion again, and he had a great career. So no, at least I hope he's got money and he deserves to retire and have a nice life now.
I was saying to my colleague Danny Flexen, I was saying, bit of a shame though that he maybe didn't have one last hurrah, have the retirement fight here in the UK, which served him so well outside of his home country, Spain.
I'm going to say he made a lot of fans in the UK, but then at the same time, he probably when you've had enough, you've had enough. You know, so I hope he's happy now when he's settled in retirement.
Thoughts on a couple of other things. Inoue versus Tapales, if the fight gets made, what do you think of that one?
It's hard to go against Inoue. When obviously Paul Butler fought him, I remember me with Joe, we went to watch his media workout because Paul's was on afterwards. And the way he was moving around the bag, it was like he was just gliding, floating. Just things that when you've never seen, what you've never seen before, and it was just the way he moved and certain things he did explains why he has the power he does, he has the ability he does, and why he has the power he does because of his balance. He's absolutely perfect.
Would you pick him if this fantasy fight between him and Gervonta Davis could ever get made?
I'd say it was a 50-50. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 50-50. If he was both the same weight, if obviously if they was to fight at the weights that and he made a catch, but obviously Gervonta is too big. Mm-hmm. But ability-wise, it'd be a real good 50-50 pick 'em.
From the smaller weights all the way up to the heavyweights, just want to get your thoughts on Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou taking on this UFC crossover fight. A fight that you're interested in?
Yeah, obviously people say it's just, what's he doing? It's a farce. How is he going to compete with Tyson? Listen, I know I'll tune in to watch it because it's not about Tyson's bigger than I say not bigger than boxing, but he's like Tyson's Tyson. So you're not. It doesn't matter who he fights. You're tuning in to watch him. You know, and obviously when you're watching the press, the press conferences, and so you never know, what tricks he's going to come with or what he's going to do. So no, it's a fight. And you know what? That Ngannou, he's obviously can whack. So listen, it's a boxing ring, and if you switch off for a second, it could be a good night. But I mean, I think Tyson absolutely box rings around him and plays with him.
One thing I want to touch on, it's a moment outside of the actual fights that crops up every now and again in your career. It's the infamous moment of the walk to the ring.
Bring it up. It just keeps me. Listen, that will always keep me relevant, but it'll be obviously for the wrong reason. But I'm telling you now, when I first did that, everyone thought it was mint. Everyone was like, "Oh, it was going." Everyone was. The thing is, social media weren't as big back then. But if it was, it would have been even bigger. But at the time, everyone thought was backing it was really good. But I tell you, it's not aged well. Every time it comes around, I just get on social media. Yep, there we go. It must be that time of year when it happened. And like I say, I still get a stick for it today.
I think it has aged well. Actually, I think people enjoy it for different reasons.
Set the pace.
But you know what though? I was speaking to Lewis Van Pooch, who obviously retired, and he said he would have liked to. He was thinking about ways to have one final grand entrance, and one on his list was to maybe replicate that moment as well too. So
the thing is, it was because if you did it today, if I still lived there and I did it and I fought and I did it today, it'd be so much better because there'd be more to it'd be done in a way better way. So there'd be more about it. Whereas it was just two guys with a camera just literally following me from a door to the leisure centre. Whereas there'd be a few more gimmicks in there. So it would be, if it were done today, it could be made a lot better.
Let's get it done again.
Let's do a rewalk, but no fight at the end.
Scott, great place to leave it. Thanks for speaking to Seconds Out, sir. Thanks for having me here as well. Much appreciated.